All right, good evening. What up, people? It's your boy Chid from Guna Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is a transfer rumor video. That's right, you're through to Eagle Eye, where I talk to you about transfer rumors surrounding the Arsenal Football Club. Now, I tried to record this video earlier and people were bitching about the lag. People always bitch about lags. But I ain't gonna lie, even I watched that video 2 minutes into it, I was like, oh no. I just noticed it happens at certain times of the day. If you dare look at another website when you're recording, it will just lag the video to fuck. So apologies for that. So yeah, hopefully this one will turn out a little bit better. Big up to you, Aussie Gunnar. It's been a while, my man. I hope you're well. Taib, I see you. Big up to you, Ben. All right, let's talk about a few rumours that have been going around the block today. Let's talk about Samuel Umtiti. The Barcelona defender is someone who we've been linked with for some time, a long time. He's now 26 years old. We were linked with him last summer heavily, predominantly because he's supposed to be really good friends with Lacazette and Aubameyang. And ultimately, he's someone who a lot of people rate as a good defender. And let's have it right, he's a good defender. He really is a good defender. The thing that's been a problem for him is that he suffered a really bad knee injury very early on into his Barcelona stay, so to speak. And Barcelona are not the sort of team that will wait for you. They will plan. They don't care how much they spend money on you. They will continue to move forward. And that's a lot of the reason why Umtiti has never really figured for a long period of time for them. There was a feeling that if Barcelona had got De Ligt, who obviously ended up going to Juventus, who, interestingly, I saw a story today that Ajax are cheekily trying to get De Ligt back on loan, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, the thought process is that, if De Ligt had gone to Barcelona, then Umtiti would have probably become an Arsenal player. I know a lot of people, and I can see it in the chat already, have written the idea of Umtiti off because he's injury prone and this, that, and the other. I think he's had one really bad injury, and that was the knee injury, the original knee injury. And then I think he's had some rehabilitation issues regarding the same injury. And I suppose that's what medicals are for at the end of the day. I think if you are going to take a chance on such a player, then we need to make sure that that player can play and doesn't have a dodgy knee that can maybe flare up and becomes, no offense, an Abu Dhabi. I think the sensible way to go with this would be if we were to get him on loan and he turned out to be something, then you could probably look to purchase him at the end of the year. Now, I know a lot of people have their heart set on Upamecano. Just going along with this Upamecano story very, very quickly, I know that Man City are very, very keen on Upamecano, something I called myself in June. I felt that we wouldn't buy him in the summer, and that when the January window reopens, City would probably go and buy him. Mind you, that was before their injury problems. So I always felt that that would be the route that he'd eventually go down. Ironically enough, Barcelona are also interested in Upamecano. So this guy has options, and that's the concern, I guess, if you're an Arsenal fan, keen on this guy. He does have a lot of options, so it'll be interesting to see where he goes. In terms of what the defenders like himself, anyone who doesn't actually know, he's a good defender. He's strong. He's got good pace, pre-knee injury. Reads the ball quite well. He's good. He's an experienced head. He's someone that would be a really good addition if you're getting a fit footballer back there. I just think for me, and I see Joanne agrees, I would personally get him on loan. This is, supposedly that those are the only sort of moves we have are loan signings. To me, this is a typical loan signing that you can take a kind of a relatively cheap gamble on. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and you move on to other defensive targets. But anyway, Samuel Umtiti. The other thing that did occur to me about the Samuel Umtiti story is that it could be that Arsenal are trying to bluff RB Leipzig. Because one of the things, and I might as well move on to the story now, RB Leipzig have slapped a £45 million asking price on Upamecano. The reason being is that Upamecano's contract runs out next summer. So from their perspective, they want to try and get some decent money for him. Arsenal believe that if they try to buy him in the summer, they'll get him for cheaper than that. But Arsenal being ignorantly blissful, they don't realise that you've got other teams that are interested in him. And maybe Arsenal are a little bit trying to play hardball themselves and say, listen, we don't have to go for Upamecano. We could still go for it at Samuel Umtiti here. So it does occur to me that that might be the game that they are playing. I said this 6 months ago. Do I still expect Arsenal to buy Upamecano in January? No, I don't. But if it's possible, I mean, surely if we're going to spunk money anywhere, it's got to be on our central defence. Surely. So we'll see what happens. But Upamecano has had a £45 million defensive fee slapped on him. Canute would still be the guy I'd go for. Canute's injured for the season. Is he? It's the first I've heard of that as well. Okay. Oh, sorry. That story has developed even further now. Ignore me. I just told you that. Okay, let's move on to the next story, and that is one of two defensive midfielders that I've been very excited for some time. I am going to butcher the crap out of his name though, so bear with me. Babu Bakary Soumare. He is a 20-year-old Lille defensive midfielder. Very, very good. Oh my gosh, very, very good. He's one of two guys that I've been harping on about for some time. The other one being Ibrahim, I can't pronounce his name, the Toulouse defensive midfielder, but I'll come back to him in a second. To me, this Soumare guy is very, very good. Emphasized by the fact that there are 7, and I do mean 7 top-class teams in the race to sign this guy. United are supposedly interested. Real Madrid are supposedly interested. Bayern Munich are supposedly interested. I mean, we got top people that are interested in this guy. And Arsenal, little old Arsenal, are also interested. They've recently announced that they're in the race to sign this guy. £40 million worth of player. Excellent midfield. People ask me all the time, what would I do with our central midfield? You know what? For me, if Torreira wanted to go, if Xhaka wanted to go, and you asked me if I could get rid of him and I could replace him with Soumare and I could put him in there with Ibrahim, it's fucking escaping me now, the Toulouse defensive midfielder, I'd put him in there. People will always compare Soumare to Patrick Vieira, and I see that Mujib has just made that same comparison. Sangara, that's the one. Thank you, Mujib. Yes, Sangara, Ibrahim Sangara from Toulouse is the other one. That would be my perfect core midfield. Ain't no one fucking with that midfield. And I'll come back to Sangara in a minute because he's more of a Granit Xhaka replacement. But this guy is very, very good, very energetic, good tackler, slick pass to the ball, lots of skill for a defensive midfielder. Young, clearly a very ambitious, industrious player. Works hard, tracks all over the pitch, very comfortable with both feet. And someone who you can see when he plays in midfield dominates. He's only like 6'1", only 6'1", but the presence he has on the pitch, this might not sound like it makes a lot of sense. He feels like a bigger sort of player. Like he's that sort of player. Now, a lot of people, and I knew this would happen because, again, I can see it in the chat room, will say to me, but hold on, Chid, you've always been a big proponent of Doucouré. You guys know I liked Doucouré for some time, and I have. I've been a big advocate of Doucouré's. Here's my thing, though, right? Why would you get a 20-year-old Doucouré when you can get a 22-year-old Ibrahim Sangara or a Samoya who's 20 years old? You know, I think if you're starting to look to build a team for the future, and these are the bars that we're hearing, then these are the type of players that you go and buy. Yes, I think Doucouré is a good player, but I've gone a little bit lukewarm on him, only in the sense that I think he's playing close to his top level right now. Whereas I'm looking at players that are playing on the pitch, and I saw Jalsi in the chat room disagree with me earlier about Soumare. Let me tell you something. If that guy turns out to be a crap player, then I'm a donkey's uncle. There is no way he's going to be a crap player. No way. 40 million rated, at least. He's so good as well. You have no idea. Sometimes I watch for the French league for these sorts of players, just because I know that these are the French league is essentially a feeder league for other leagues, for these sort of players. And in my view, both of these players, in my opinion, will turn out to be something. But at the moment, Soumare is the one that we're being linked with today. And he's a player that I like. 20 years old, lots of control, lots of energy, ambition, very quick as well. I like over the course of a field, which you don't necessarily see in a defensive midfielder. Defensive midfielders are quite clever in the sense that they rely very much on the way they position themselves on the pitch. You can't tell me too many quick defensive mids. It don't really happen. Actually, I think Torreira is one of the quicker ones. But generally, I don't think Kante is blisteringly quick. Some of the more successful ones from the past eras weren't amazingly quick. Gilberto Silva most certainly weren't that quick as a DM. So yeah, to me, I think it is one of those things whereby I think if you can get a player who goes in there and destroys midfields and it more than anything improves the core of the team, why wouldn't you do that? So yeah, just to answer Jalsi, because he clearly wants a response from me, mate, I watch the French league. I watch the games. But thank you for your opinion. So yeah, in my view, this is exactly what I would do and how I would look to be building the team. And I'd be looking at younger players like this. No doubt for 40 million, and once you hear that Real Madrid are involved, it's very unlikely that we're going to get him. But he is someone that I think would be very, very exciting for the future. Now, the final story that I'm going to talk about today is the Brazilian right back, who I'm probably going to butcher the name of this kid, Yan Couto. Yan Couto is a 17-year-old right back. It looks like an Edu scouted one that he may have run by Arteta. And what I like about this is that I felt like we needed a right back for some time. I know earlier in the week we were linked with Max Aarons, and I thought that would have been brilliant for us to go and get. The reason that we targeted a right back is that there is some ongoing concerns about Bellerin's fitness. Me and Lee have said this thousands of times on the watch-alongs. Once you have a knee injury, it ain't that easy to come back from. Do you remember Danny Welbeck? Well, most people forget he plays for Watford now. How many times have you seen Danny Welbeck play for Watford? Knee injuries are not easy to come back from. Another one, Jack Wilshere. How many knee? I mean, his main problem was his ankle, but he also had a knee injury. How many times does he play for West Ham? It's not easy to come back from a knee injury. And with Bellerin, there's a lots of stop and starts about what's happening. Right. First of all, because this guy is absolutely doing my nuts in. There is no way, the way you're spamming my chat, there is absolutely no way that I would make you a mod. So relax. Anyway. Sorry, guy driving me mad. Yeah. So in my opinion, I feel as though looking at a right back is a sensible move. And it looks like we've identified one. And you know what? I was beginning to wonder what Eddie was actually doing, contributing to the cause here. We need to start looking at some of these Brazilians and see if we can get that locked down. We've obviously recently lost out on Reina Jesus. He was supposed to be like the next major thing coming out of South America. Yesterday it was confirmed that Real Madrid more or less have an agreement to sign him for £22 million, which in the grand scheme of things, if you're supposed to be that good, why weren't Arsenal involved? For £22 million, not exactly crazy. So yeah, supposedly he's going to sign for Real Madrid on the 19th of January. Very specific, I know. So yeah, it is what it is. But let me. Sorry, I'm just watching some of the discussions you guys are having. But let me see what happens here. But in my opinion, right back, strengthening the right back position, I think is a sensible move that we need to be looking at. In terms of outgoings, there are a few. Mustafi apparently is supposedly edging closer and closer to the exit door. He was supposed to have exit talks towards the end of last week about his future around the club. And they basically said to him that, listen, you're free to find whatever club comes up. As we now know, every single transfer window, they've attempted to sell Mustafi unsuccessfully. I believe come the end of this season, he'll have one more year with us? I don't know who gave him that monster contract. He's been laughing at us ever since. So yeah, it seems like Mustafi's almost out the door. Granit Xhaka is the story that I am quite confused about, because on the one hand, I'm hearing stories that Arteta's convinced him to stay and, this, that, and the other. My feeling is that what he's basically agreed at Arteta is, you're not going to leave in January, but if you still want to leave at the end of the year, we'll grant you that. But you need to be on board, because it's not like we could change everything at once here. If you leave, it leaves us short in midfield, and we're already short in midfield. Now, me personally, and this is why I can see why Chelsea is arguing so passionately against my suggested player, because I'm sure he's not watched the suggested player, but he disagrees with the fact that the midfield should be sold. In my view, and I've always said this, I feel like we can get better midfielders in the centre core of that midfield. Yes, I don't think our defenders have been good enough, but I also think that we've said that for so long. You need to look at elsewhere on the pitch as well. I also think our fullbacks have been at fault for a lot of goals. But quite honestly, so has, statistically, a Granit Xhaka and a Lucas Torreira. Now, for me, I'm not blinded by form. I must reiterate, I'm not blinded by form. Just because they are in good form at the moment doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to discount all of their months of crap up until now. So that's why I would look to strengthen that midfield. And I think if you put two Patrick Vieira-like type people in the centre of midfield, who is complaining about that? Who's complaining about that? So that's just my view. Yes, you guys are right. I did hear that Mustafi has himself a new super agent. So whenever players start changing agents, especially ahead of the transfer window, you know what I've got. Wilfried Zaha, for example, is someone else who's just changed his agent. Before anyone asked me, no, I don't think he's coming to Arsenal. I think Arteta was merely complimenting the guy ahead of us playing Palace on Saturday. That's all I think that was. I don't think there was anything more sinister than that. But yeah, it is what it is. 87 people watching, which is not horrendous. Please do stick a like on this video. I know some more notorious people are on live, so thank you for sticking with me. Please do stick a like on this video. Please do hit that subscribe button as we go through. The final thing I'm going to talk about before I hit the chat room with you guys is the fact that Chig, you were slotting centre back perfectly. Well, Bertrand, I used to be a centre back back in the day. 10 stone lighter, but I used to be one back in the day. Yeah, for me, the last I'm going to talk about is our 3 young players. So Arteta had his press conference for the Palace game today. And one of the things that he talked about was 3 younger players. Eddie Nketiah, who's recently come back from loan. Emil Smith-Rowe. And interestingly, John Jules. He's more or less confirmed that all 3 guys will be heading out on loan. I think the John Jules one is more or less almost done. I think he's going to, is it Exeter he's going to? Somewhere like that. They've also sorted out a move for Emil Smith-Rowe going to a championship team. And Eddie Nketiah, I think the one that Arteta's deliberating about a little bit, because supposedly Eddie Nketiah has come into training. He's impressed. He's done well. He's shown Arteta a few things that he likes. You guys know I'm not entirely convinced by Eddie Nketiah, I must admit. But then again, what do I know about these young players? Because I also thought that Reece Nelson would kick on. Tell you what, there's someone that needs a freaking loan. It's Reece Nelson. So yeah, I think from my perspective, it will do all of these guys good to go on loan. Let's see what sort of players we have. You know, I think all of us are very hopeful about players like Emil Smith-Rowe and John Jules, but we don't know. We actually don't know what sort of players we have. So for them to go on loan, I think is a good idea. John Jules is off to Lincoln City. Okay, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, let's see what happens. It is what it is, but that's where we're at the moment in the transfer window. And then lastly, I suppose, I keep saying lastly, but this is really lastly. I suppose I'll talk about Mikel Arteta. I know a few people were worried about the comments he made again today, where he basically said that, you know, he doesn't expect anything major to come from Arsenal. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You'll be naive to expect anything different. A, for him to say anything different, and B, how long have you been an Arsenal fan if you're actually hopeful for a big January window? It don't happen. To be fair to Arsenal, it don't happen with a lot of Premier League teams. Now, given our disastrous situation at the moment, you would hope that the board would say, all right, this is exceptional circumstances. Even if we're going to take a whooping financially, let's just do what we need to do to support this man and get us back where we belong. Because by some miracle, we still have another option of getting into the Champions League. And that is through the Europa League. I've been looking to build a team for that. So when Arteta came out with the comments that he said today that he wasn't expecting a big transfer window from Arsenal, it didn't bother me. I'm not going to see quite disaster from it. I would like a minimum of a defender, please. Maybe I'm being greedy, a DM and a defender would be great. I'd like to see some sort of improvement to that defensive unit. Whether it will happen or not, who knows? With Arsenal, who knows? But we'll see what happens. I'm eagerly awaiting. So we'll go from there. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm still going to stick around for another 15 minutes, shall we say, and then I've got to cook and do a few things. But please do stick a like on this video, just to give you guys an idea of my schedule coming up. So I suppose I better break it down. So if you're watching this live, it's not there at the moment, but give me 5 minutes. The link to mine and Ola's UFC channel will be put in the description below. So if you're watching this live, it's not there now, but it will be in the description below. Why do I say this? Well, me and Ola have obviously quite passionate guys when it comes to UFC and boxing. We felt that it would be appropriate having a separate channel for that rather than bombard the guys. So I'm not interested in that through alerts. So that's what we decided to do. So if you notice with all of my projects, I've decided to just separate them all. One of the things that I promised myself this year is to be more focused on those things. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to be talking UFC 246. So that will be dropping sometime, I would imagine, early next week. I need to speak to Ola, and I will be on there. So please do look out in the description below, especially when I come off live, because then you can literally just hit the subscribe button and then you'll see the show, because that show will not be on Guna Eagle Eye. All right. So UFC is coming back for 2020. Our reviews, our previews are coming back, and it will be on the Filthy Casual and Hardcore show. Yes, that's what the channel is called. So look out for that. Secondly, Chick Flicks. The link is in the description right now for that. Go click on that. Through 117 subscribers now. So that's great. Going to be more focused on that over the next week or so. More so than this channel, actually. So do look out for that. You're going to see, guys, why I've taken so long to get certain reviews out. Because I've been working hard on intro, outro stuff for all of my channels. So do keep a lookout for that. Also, one more plug. What I'm going to be doing on this channel. So initially I was going to do a Chig Knows Best today. That won't happen today. It's going to more likely happen tomorrow, because I'm going to record it tonight. We'll record it tonight, and then I'm going to piece it together. It won't have an intro, outro yet, purely because I'm not happy with the one that I produced. So I'm going to get some help on that one. And then, but yeah, in terms of the Chig Knows Best video series, though, that will drop tomorrow. So it'll be a pre-recorded one. I'm going to piece that together. And for anyone who doesn't know what a Chig Knows Best video series looks like, that is what playlists are for, baby. Go check out my Chig Knows Best video series, and you'll know exactly what that's about. Chopping block, though, will be tonight. The African music returns, and that will be tonight. So do check out my chopping block. That is not a euphemism for anyone watching. And you'll see who's first on my chopping block list of Arsenal players we need to get rid of. So I'm going to be dropping that at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock UK time. I will not be late for that. So make sure you catch that live. And disagree all you like. I don't give a damn. Moan about the African music all you like. I don't give a damn. If you want to know what the chopping block is about, go watch a chopping block, baby. That's it. Let's plug. Got all my plugs out of the way. Big up to Rabadan. I see you with a donation, my bro. We got Van Dijk in January, but yeah, it's rare. Don't get me wrong. Arsenal are capable of big deals. You know, we got Aubameyang in January. We're capable of big deals. But what I'm saying is, in terms of Mikel Arteta's comments where he said he's not expecting, I don't expect it. I don't expect it, because January deals are hard to get over the line. So yeah. Thank you, my bro. Appreciate it. Much love. Much love. Trying. I'm trying. I'm trying, Joe. I'm trying. Happy birthday. Thank you very much, my man. Thank you. Yeah, Cowboy Corner coming up. I will be discussing that extensively. Martinelli's the only youngster who's fully ready, although he's learning. I get worried at the thought of one of the Giants ready to take him from us. See, you know the scary thing, Adam? I slightly disagree. I don't think he's ready yet. To start, don't get me wrong, to start games, of course. Of course. But I wouldn't call him ready-made. Not yet. Just because he's starting games, just because you start games doesn't necessarily mean you're ready. It just means that you've earned the right to start a game. So, yeah, I think there's still plenty of time in his development, and he'll get there. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Jerome. I appreciate it. I'm getting there. The cough is still there. The cough is still there. But generally, I feel a lot better, especially because it happened on my birthday week, man. Birthday was fine until about 8 p.m. And I was like, oh no. And I literally, the next couple of days after that, I literally had to call my boss and just get him involved in everything. But yeah, thank you, my guy. Am I confident against Palace? Or do I think it'll be another sour away day? Wow, it's funny you should mention Palace. I'll be doing a preview for that because I'm not working tomorrow. So I'll be doing a preview for that early. So I'll be dropping that around midday. But you'll be get to find out whether or not I'm confident ahead of the Palace game. I bet Granit Xhaka or Mustafi is first to the chopping block. That's what I'm going to say. I think Martinelli is ready. Not surprise, Chelsea. You disagree with me. Happy birthday, chick. Don't mind the late wishes. Nah, man. Birthday's on Monday, so you ain't that late. Do I watch WWE or AEW? Bertrand, 2019, I officially stopped watching wrestling. I tapped out. I actually tapped out at 34 years old. So I haven't watched wrestling in about whenever the last WrestleMania was. So last April. I doubt any of the Arsenal. Okay, so people have got what I've said twisted. I'm trying to explain this to you guys. Arsenal fans, when they have a habit of seeing something new that works, they get gassed, right? I'm not that guy. To me, I think Martinelli is showing all the signs of being a top player. But I can't consciously say that, oh, well, he's one of our more established players because he's been on a dangerous run. That does not mean that I don't think he won't be a top player, that I don't think he deserves to start. But I can't say that an 18-year-old player that's been there for 6 months is ready, per se. I think he's just in a situation where we need him to be as ready as possible. I'm trying not to gas him. You man are ready to send this rocket shit up. What do I do for a living, son? You seem extremely analytical. Thank you, Mr. Gomez. I appreciate it and the donation, my brother. I work in HR, so I have to be. Work in HR. Martinelli, I've hardly noticed him take on the side of a defender and beat them. Oh, gosh, finally, something I agree with Chelsea about. Yes, I feel like, to me, and to say that, oh, well, he's not a winger, he's a striker, you should be able to do that anywhere on the pitch. You should be able to take on a defender outside of... There are certain things in this game that I think he needs to improve. I think his hold-up play needs to get a little bit better. I think his movement is excellent. His finishing is excellent. But I'd like to see what he does on the ball a little bit more. To say that, oh, well, that's because he plays in the wing. Well, no. As a striker, you need to do that stuff as well. Once again, people, because I know you guys like to hear little things and then get triggered. I'm not saying he's not a good player and he won't be a class player moving forward. What I'm saying is, let's not kid ourselves and say, oh, well, he's a complete player, so he's ready. No, he's 18 years old. This is why you man gas the players too much, and then when they start showing some frailties, all of a sudden you guys kill confidence. It's like, everybody calm down. This is what we were doing with Reece when Reece was tearing it up in the Bundesliga. And I was seeing people talking about Reece playing for England and stuff. I'm like, hi, easy. He's gone on one small little run. Let's see if he's about this life moving forward. Easy. Yes, he's playing amazingly well. And Martinelli, yeah, of course, there's nothing wrong with being not excited about him. Be excited. Be excited, yeah. But, the mere fact that all I said was, I wouldn't say he's ready, i.e. he's not a finished article, which I thought was a pretty reasonable comment, and everyone's kind of like lost their minds. I'm like, well, okay, I'll say it again. I don't think he is a finished article. I wouldn't say he's ready, but he's an exciting talent. Will he go on and be a good player? Most probably. Yes. I also don't think we should unnecessarily gas the kid. Would I take Jimenez from Atletico? No, I wouldn't. Chin, my guy, I don't normally get gassed about these youngsters. Martinelli has the sauce. Not saying he's a finished product yet, but I think we have a diamond. Potentially. Absolutely potentially. And you're right, Tyrone. I don't either. And unfortunately, we need at least 3 January. But you're right. Yeah, it is. Do you know what? And there's nothing wrong with outgrowing it as well. Listen, people will laugh at you. At one point or another, every single person in the chat room watched at least something wrestling related in their lives. Everybody. So don't get it twisted. But it's also good to just outgrow it if you're outgrowing it. I don't want Martinelli to be playing every week. Look at Rashford. Finally, we've got a sensible comment. To me, it's less about Martinelli playing every week. It's about playing players who deserve to play based on merit. And I think that's a lot of the frustration people have with, say, Guendouzi. You guys know I like Guendouzi. Guendouzi wouldn't start every week for me, though. Because I think sometimes you need to earn it. I think when he played well, particularly at the beginning of this season, he was one of the few people that was actually playing well. Ironically, Emre goes, and actually I think his form has dipped. So arguably shouldn't be playing, or at least starting games. And look at the way people are ravishing Guendouzi, and I think people forget, my man is 20 years old. And this is the point I'm trying to make of Martinelli, because Arsenal fans are dumb, and we will fall down that trap again, where, Martinelli seems like this unbelievable player. But then what if he goes through 4 months and doesn't score a goal? And then you guys start killing his confidence. So that everybody just relax. Calm down. Yes, he's a great player, no doubt. But let's see where that actually goes. And there you go. That's the way I feel. Absolutely. Still eating PRP. There's nothing wrong with trusting your manager. Go trust him. I don't see it with Reece personally, but you could trust him. People expect our youngsters to burst out, becoming like the Messiah. The same people like were hyping Reece at Hoffenheim now want him sold. Madness. Well, for me, I was always the same. I've always been the same with Reece. Let's wait and see. I feel like I've seen enough where I don't think there is much progression left for him. I think a lot of the experience that people have with Reece is that they are disappointed he's not kicked on. Like, if you're going to ask me straight up who's a better player right now, right this second, Saka or Reece, I'm telling you Saka's the better player. Right this second. Forget potential, right this second. I think he's the better player. Saka is how many years younger? 3 years younger? Like, everybody just needs to be easy. Calm down. Be excited. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with being excited. It's just when people go over the top is the issue I have with Arsenal fans. It weren't bad. I'm still hoping that because I'll celebrate it this weekend to a certain extent, and then end of the month it will get better and better. So at the moment, my birthday's on pause right now. But yeah, so far so good. Load out Nelson, not good enough. Saka is far the better player. Guendouzi is horrible at reading the game defensively. He can't do the situation. So to me, I slightly disagree with this. I think Guendouzi is actually pretty good at reading the game generally. Where I think I slightly agree with you is that positionally, he's not the greatest defensively. And that's usually where he'll get caught out. Or he'll pick up the ball in a tight area and then play a dumb pass. And you're like, what did you even see? How did you see? What did you see playing out in your head? Because I don't even know what you were trying to do. He does them type of passes. Like, these aren't just Granit Xhaka or let me just pass it to anyone type. These are, I'm going to try something ambitious, but no one else quite knows what that ambitious pass was. You know? Saka's a million times better than Nelson. Hello, Chig. Hello, Abamon. Saka is 8. Okay, 2 years younger. All right, fine. But this is what I'm trying to say. You know, and for me, listen, I hope Reece makes it. Who doesn't want one of their own to make it? I hope Reece makes it. I just don't see it happening. That's just my opinion. Guendouzi annoys me so much. He's always looking to be fouled. I don't mind that too much because I think sometimes if you can buy a foul when you're being pressured, I'd rather that than you give the ball away. And he's very good at buying fouls. I agree with that. But yeah, Smith Rowe overhyped. We'll find out. I think that's the good thing about the loan. We'll find out. You reckon? All right. Mavropanos is even more hyped than Nelson, to be fair. The Mavropanos conundrum is an interesting one because are we selling Mustafi because we know we have Mavropanos? Now, that to me is a more interesting question. I had plantain in time. I ain't gonna lie. That's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. He's very good at attracting fouls. I don't see that as a bad quality. Yeah, there's a reason for that, though. Because he's injury prone to fuck. That's the problem. When he picks up an injury, it tends to be a bad one. And his rehabilitation is the first month after him coming back, he tends to be shit. And then maybe 2-3 months later, you then start to see he's a slow rehabilitator. I've noticed that about him. The first month after a long injury, he tends to be dead food. But after that, you start to see something good out of him. Thank you, my bro. Appreciate it. Thoughts on Boateng very quickly. If you asked me 5 years ago if I'd want Boateng, I'd been like, hell, even before you finish the sentence, fuck yes, where do we sign? Now, pays me to say it, light-skinned Mustafi. I say light-skinned Mustafi like Mustafi's already black. Black, light-skinned Mustafi. I'm sorry. No, thank you. Yeah, and this is where you would hope that someone like a coach can coach that into him. He's 20 years old. See, people will hear what they want to hear, so I won't respond to this too much because I don't think anybody said this, so I won't respond to this too much. We should promote Medley. Yeah, there's a reason we ain't promoted him. I said this when people were. This is another one that people were hyping. And I said, listen, I watch the under-23s from time to time. Medley ain't good enough. Straight up, he ain't good enough. That's the reason he don't get any shine. You notice he never gets shine in these teams. There's a reason for that. He ain't good enough. I think people just saw a big black guy in defense and was like, yeah, why don't we put him in defense? And I get the theory, but no, he's not good enough. And yeah, I agree. For Callum Chambers, I feel for Callum Chambers because I felt like this was his moment to say, right, look at me. And then he got this long-term injury. But I also think that Holding is entering that same stage of his career now, where unless he steps up, I'd be shocked if both Callum Chambers and Rob Holding are Arsenal players next season together. So I feel like it's kind of they're fighting for one place. And I think unless Rob Holding dramatically steps up towards the back end of the season, and we might need him to because I actually think this board would rather twiddle their thumbs than spend more money that they don't have. So I think from Holding's perspective, he absolutely needs to step up. I mean, there's no question. All right, guys, I've done some serious overtime here. I know I owed you guys at least one show like this. Surely Arsenal has some money to spend on players. It's not looking like it. Holding will end up being sold before Chambers. I think so too. Chick, would you be happy if Arsenal signed Phillips from Leeds, it's his CDM? Haven't seen much of him, but only positive things. Is he 22 years old? Is it Kelvin Phillips? I don't think it's like Phillips. It's like Phillips or something like that. I think so as well, Chelsea. Arsenal should lose. Arsenal should lose the deal with Upamecano for 50 million. Interesting. Why do you say that, Herb, guys? Goggins. Oh, he's 23. I still need to see more of him. Oh, Calvin Phillips. Yeah, I knew there was an A somewhere in an unusual spot. Looks like a decent player. I don't watch the Championship a lot, but I must admit, Leeds are one of the teams I do watch out for. But yeah, I thought he was older. Yeah, I thought he was 24. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Miguel. All right, I am bouncing up out of here, but thank you so much to everyone that has watched. Please do stick a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button. I'll be back later on with the chopping block. Pow! And I'll talk about who I'll get rid of. I imagine Lee is probably going to do a 9 o'clock stream, guys. I know he's back at home in Spain, so make sure you look out for that. And say Chig sent you. Just spam the crap out of his chat room. Say Chig sent you. Absolutely spam it silly. Say Chig sent you. And yeah, I'll be back later on tonight with the chopping block. All right? Literally give me 2 hours and I'll be back. Peace.